Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Realistic Subspace Hockey League. It's Season 20, and this game ought to be a doozy. It's Interference taking on Execution. I'm the Red Raven alongside who I assume is Thrill HZ or Z, depending on where he lives. Nope, Thrill's not here. That's fantastic.
Sorry, I am here. Sorry about that.
What happened, man? What happened?
I was muted for a second. But, so this is going to be a really good game. I'm really interested to see who's going to come out on top. Assuming that Execution doesn't lag and is able to play their top line, I think that this is probably going to be the closest game that Interference has played so far.
I think that's entirely possible. I think it's also possible that you're wrong and that this is a complete beatdown and Interference wins this game by a huge amount. But we'll have to wait and see. Lots of things can happen. There's tons of variables. At least 4 variables I think I can count. Right now, Interference has Buckcat, Linux, Mace, Strike, and TJ on the ice. I don't see a 6th, although I've been told that they showed 12 of 13 players. But I didn't actually research to see if that was true or not.
Yeah, and look at 9 actually showing up. He's been MIA for quite a while, and he's present for tonight's game, and that'll probably have a pretty big impact on the game.
For those curious, MIA refers to missing in action. In other words, a lot of people thought 9 was dead. Apparently he's not, so we'll have to see if he can be a positive influence on this Execution team. He is on the ice with Jean-Claude Van Damme back in goalie. Rage is on the ice, Jaywalking, Image, and Dragon Wing Zero. Now, Interference has already had some issues with Strike being unable to stay on the ice, whether it's legit lag or maybe he's just trying to psych everyone out, or maybe he just wants us to talk about him. I think any one of those 3 things is a distinct possibility.
Every single player but Coho from Interference is online right now, including their suspended players, so huge showing from them tonight.
I think that is a good point to make right now. Coho proving that they're not a perfect team. They do have issues, at least showing 1 player.
Yeah, Coho being the chink in the armor of Interference attendance.
I think that's racist. We're going to do some research. Our crack team will work on that. Blockade getting ready to drop the puck. 2 carriers in the face-off circle. Regiments and 9. Who will win this face-off? I'm going to guess 9 does. Oh, and he does. Puck goes to Rage. And they're going to work the puck into the Interference zone. What is going on? Image. Oh, a big save by Linux. And Image will keep the puck back. Resets very quickly. We almost had a Warbird duel between Rage and Strike. We have 3 Warbirds on the ice. And Buckcat's going to try and get by Dragon Wing Zero. If he does, he's going to break away on Super Dan. And that happened.
So Rage is playing Warbird once again. He switched to Spider for a couple of matches, and I'm not sure if he felt like the Spider was changing his play style and his kind of the things he wanted to do dramatically, but he's back in the Warbird tonight.
Here's Rage with a chance on Linux, but he hangs on to the puck, so he doesn't shoot it. He continues hanging on to the puck, holding it as it were. Image to 9. 9 looking to make something happen, and does, but Strike will get back with the puck.
Yeah, and this is a really strong lineup for Execution. One of their best lines. The only possible improvement I can see is maybe Doobie over Image, but he's not here tonight. So
look at the puck just stalling on the crease. That is interesting. Man. Rage has the puck now. He's going to try and ball kill. Bucky does so. And now they're going to come back the other way. Execution looking to make something happen. Here's 9 to Image. Back to 9. And Mace gives it to his goaltender.
We'll have to see if Execution's going to be defensively responsible enough to pull this game off, but
here's a chance, Bucky. No.
Assuming Execution stays back a lot, honestly, with the dual Warbird system that Interference is playing and the lineup that kick you apart, that Execution is playing, I think they might be in a little bit of trouble with this lineup.
Rage trying to make a move on TJ, finds Jaywalking, and that happened. Jaywalking back to Rage. 9 to Image. Back to 9. to Image. There are other players on the ice. Oh, they found Rage. And a bunch of lag at the crease. Jaywalking and Image resetting the puck. 9. Here's a chance. Nope. 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 9 again with the puck back to Rage. Image just teasing people now. More lag. Image not sure what's going on. Apparently he has not seen lag at all this season yet. Mace has it at the blue line. And decides to pass it back to TJ. You can't kill him.
Yeah, three duds in a row from Mace. That's all I actually see on my screen of text right now is duds from Mace 2-3 on the referee.
Freck. Image to Jaywalking. Oh, wait, he finds Rage, who gets killed and is out of the play. Warbirds working together. No, Regiments hangs on to it and gives Super Dan a goalie kill, one of the few in his career. Super Dan, one of the worst goalies in the league when it comes to shooting other players, which is really the only stat that matters. 9 with a shot, misses the net, and Strike says, no, Linux, you do not get the easy save. Buckcat has it at the wall.
So looking at Freck 1 and execution, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit on why I think that this is going to be a tougher match for Interference than their previous matches. Interference is really good at being opportunistic and scoring on odd man rushes and taking advantage of positional weakness and things like that. That's where they score a lot of their goals. And when you're facing a goalie that's as strong as Super Dan is positionally, that's going to take away some of their success on offense, I believe. So I think you're going to have a tough time scoring compared to their usual 5 goals per game average that they have right now.
Rage right now has the puck representing Freck 1 to Jaywalking. Rage back to Jaywalking. Freck 1 with some pressure. Freck 1 with a chance. Freck 1, can they score? No, they can't. They're going to come back the other way. TJ to Buckcat. And Regiments now. Interference looking for a garbage goal. Buckcat shoots and a big save.
Yeah,
by
Super
Dan.
Super Dan, just a Freck of nature with those saves.
That was huge. Freck 0 narrowly with a goal. And now Freck 1 coming back the other way. For the record, it's Freak. Freak. Freck drives me crazy too. I just think it's funny that Cubs is so bothered. 9 and stuff happening here. Image trying to find a teammate to pass to. Can't do it, so he'll give the puck to Buckcat.
Hey, shut the Freck up, buddy. I'll say it how I want.
Oh man, that was a good one. Mace 23. Nobody says Freckency for the record. And a kill happens there. 9 to Image. Back to 9. To Image. We're going to try and get 9 a goal. Hang on, Image to Linux, and Linux says no. Actually, Linux says 9. And they're going to try and get the puck back into their zone. But they can't. Image hangs onto it to Jaywalking. Rage at the center line-ish. Oh, nice little dodging move on Mace, but Mace says, I'm going to get the puck anyway. And the Warbirds working together. Buckcat legs it to Mace 23. What a pass through the 5-hole. That might have been clean in Season 1. And here we go. Image and 9 working together. Similar to the characters from that television show Hang Time. If you know what I'm referring to, go outside more. Here's Rage with a shot on goal. Shoots, misses the net. And Linux with an easy save. TJ gets it out of his own zone to Buckcat, who gets killed by Image. Attacked from behind. And they're going to clear the puck out. 9 gets the puck into their zone. Regiments dumps it back to Linux, who wow, has trouble finding a teammate there. 5 minutes left in this first period. Exacto. Dragonwing 0 to Image at the center line. or center ice, or midfield. That's pretty much all that there is. There's no other terms for it. 9 over the blue line. Kills TJ for some reason. Mid-space, I guess, is relevant. 9 in the offensive space. Off space.
Dragonwing playing some good defensive mid-spacer here.
Rage in the off space with 9. Jaywalking gets killed. Lots of stuff happening. And Buckeye will catch it at mid-space. Takes it into the defensive space zone for execution. Strike. Oh, that happened. More lag at the crease. Strike is furious. He is typing angrily in his team chat based on sources. I can't back that up. 9 an image at mid-space. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night for the biggest game of the season so far, Empire versus Direwolves.
Great pass.
Here's Rage with a shot. He misses the net.
Really, really great pass from execution there. That was some good movement.
Might have a chance here. 9 finds Jaywalking, puts a puck on net. Linux will make that save.
Yeah, and some big movement by execution around interference crease right now, but Linux is up to the task.
Here's Strike. The Buckhead shoots me. Hits the post.
Close opportunity, and they still came close to scoring the goal, but Strike honestly would have scored that bottom post if he had just kept it.
Even Jean-Claude Van Damme admits it. Super Dan, with what could have been his biggest fail since he played Guile in the Street Fighter movie. Jaywalking hits the post. Linux gets the save.
3 or 4 great tries from both teams, honestly, in the past minute or so. 3 of them have been from execution, and then, of course, that one last near goal from interference. So lots of action in the past minute and a half.
Dragonwing picks up the puck. They're going to reset. Dare I say, they're going to change the channel. Here we go, Rage on a breakaway against Linux. He's going to shoot. No! Hang on a second. What was that? That was great. Oh, that was a huge crease, in my opinion. 2 points.
Good. I mean, Jaywalking couldn't get that shot off in time, but actually a smart play by Rage to come back out of the crease and get it to one of his teammates. It's so hard to score against a talented goalie on a breakaway in the zone. Just the way that, it's for the most part 2-dimensional, and the way the settings are set up, it's really difficult to score on a breakaway. So I think that was actually a smart play by Rage there. Jaywalking fired that off well in the crease, but.
Now, if you're going to call out Thrill for saying that it's mostly 2-dimensional, keep in mind that there are people who play this game with personalities that are basically 1-dimensional. TJ has the puck at the blue line, back to Buckcat. TJ with an Ardo spin gets the puck to Regiments. And Regiments will try and do something. 1:53 left. 1:51, pardon me. I was counting up by 1 second. My humblest apologies. Rage trying to get something gone on Mace. That didn't make sense. Image gets killed by Reggie. And they're going to get the puck out to Strike. Here's a chance. Strike with a... That happened. Dragonwing 0 with a catch. Rage to Image. Up to Jaywalking. No, Rage will pick it up instead. 1:21 left now. Buckcat does that and ends up still catching the puck. That was interesting. Something about Artos. And 9 and Dragonwing 0, the 2 Terriers in the defensive court. D-court. The People's Court, dare I say. Here's Rage in the offensive space. I sincerely hope that catches on, because for some reason it just annoys the hell out of me that somebody would even offer mid-space as an option. Buckcat and Regiments in the midfield. And Image has it back on D. 45 seconds left in this first period now. 7 shots on goal for execution, 2 for interference. It's strange that it's working out this way, because generally you would see the less shots on Linux. But hey, 8 shots execution working hard to make something happen here.
Well,
Jaywalking trying to sneak that in.
Honestly, like I said, this is kind of the way that I expected it to go, and I said it even before the match. This is going to be a really tough match for Interference, and honestly, this looks similar or comparable, or maybe even worse than the first period that Dirty Birds played against Interference, where Dirty Birds had a pretty big advantage in that period. Of course, if you finish watching that game, Interference ended up monkey spanking in the rest of that game with some bad line changes, but one thing I think you can expect from Execution and Blue Goku is that they're not going to sub in their B line in this game. They're going to keep a pretty good line in, and they're going to continue to put on this immense amount of pressure against Interference with only 2 shots in that period. They probably had about 9 or 10 shots per period, and every other game they've had this season, they've been offensive powerhouses, but not able to get it going in that match.
This game unofficially brought to you by Peanut Free Crispy Square, which is, I'm assuming, some sort of edible product.
And Image with a pretty strong period there. 17 steals and 11 turnovers as a forward, of course, very great numbers for your ratio. So doing a good job having a presence on the forecheck.
I want to ask you a legitimate question here. Have you ever seen a Rice Krispie Square with peanuts in it?
You know what? I have seen all kinds of weird variations of Rice Krispies. I actually have seen the ones with peanuts in it. I've also seen Rice Krispies with mini frosted Wheaties in them. There's all kinds of weird stuff that I've seen, man. People get creative with those. Is that what you're chowing down on now?
Maybe. Maybe.
Would you recommend?
Yeah, I think I would. I've been told that Rice Krispie Squares can have bacon. Oh, Troy Dan has entered the game for interference. I'm trying not to choke. All right, there we go.
Well, Troy Dan's hoping he's not going to choke in this game, too.
6 seconds left in this, whatever you call it. Rice Krispie Square.
So it looks like Interference has taken the double warbird out, and that's a smart decision. It's really hard to play against top caliber teams that are playing pretty decently on the defensive end with 2 warbirds. It's just not the strongest ship in the zone right now. It has its niche. You know, it's really good at odd man rushes and opportunities like that, but against stellar defense and one of the greatest goalies in the zone, it's not going to work out quite as well as it usually does.
Here we go. Interference coming back the other way. But Rage and Image working together to make sure that nothing happens. 9 has it at the blue line. To Rage. Back to 9. And here's jaywalking. Here's a chance. 9. What is he not doing? The answer there would be scoring a goal, in which I thought was a pretty obvious downward shot that even Linux could not have stopped.
Yeah, he couldn't have shot it right away, but it was open, and he should have at least started flying down there and got the shot off, and he just hesitated for a little bit there. Of course, he hasn't played that much Hockey Zone recently, so not quite back to season 14 and 15 form, where 9 was just an offensive juggernaut scoring. I think it was 30 or 40 goals in a single season.
9 showing guts tonight, and by that I mean that he has Gutsman as his... whatever you want to call it, thing. Oh, what's going on here? There was a chance and they blew it.
Yeah, Image got checked at just the right moment there. If he had a split second longer, he was going to release that and score a goal.
Oh, Bucky, if he catches that puck, that is a goal.
Great interception.
There's a huge steal by Super Dan, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Great interception from him, and he's not afraid to get out there and cut off those angles like a lot of goalies are.
Here's Pilot coming back the other way. Pilot, the superstar player for Interference. Slight exaggeration. And now Image gets killed by Mace 23, and he and Regiments will try and make something happen here. Here's a chance, and Mace hangs on to it, gets a kill on Dragon Wing 0, and Super Dan will find Rage.
See, and that's what I said. I mean, that was an odd man rush created by their steals, but the defense and goalie is just so formidable for Execution that they easily repelled that. Interference is definitely in some trouble here. Their usual strategy is just not effective against Execution's team, and they're gonna have to try. They're gonna have to mix things up a little bit if they want to turn this around. 10 shots to 2. Goals are still even, but 10 shots to 2 kind of speaks for itself.
Stats can't talk, but I agreed with everything else that you said. 9:26 left in the second period. Image and Dragonwing Zero working the puck back and forth. 9 has it at center ice. Going to try and see if he can get it by Buckcat, and he does. No, Buckcat with a steal. That was close, though. Pilot to Regiments at the center ice line in mid-space. Regiment's going to try and make a move on Super Dan, but Dragonwing Zero comes out of nowhere. You have a feeling that maybe this game could come down to a one-goal game, and if it does, well, hopefully we don't see too much lag or anything like that. In really tight games, anything can happen.
Yeah, and even more than that, even if there isn't lag involved in it, I hope to see a really skilled goal with a lot of good team movement as opposed to kind of a weird cluster check kind of garbage kind of goal.
In other words, what interference is probably the best in the league at?
Well, we'll have to see. I think their strategy used to be that in previous seasons. It's not quite as obvious now that Botman left their team. He kind of spearheaded those efforts a little bit. They still do it somewhat, but definitely their strategy has changed more to a run-and-gun offense than the cluster offense with the changes to their roster. At least in my opinion.
Regiments to Mace 23. No, it's going to lag through a bunch of people. Buckcat to Pilot. I think it's fair to say that Botman 2 is the Duke Drosy of interference, and now without him, they're kind of left with, I don't know, Chainsaw Charlie. That's the closest I can think of at this short, amount of time. Here's Rage one-on-one with Troydan. Pilot trying to catch up. Pilot trying to catch up. Rage will allow them to catch up, and they're going to work some sort of a cross image. Scores! 1-0. The team that's not interference, that would be Execution on their 11th shot of the game.
Yeah, and great job by Image to finish that shot, because if he had shot it anywhere else, it would not have gone in. The goalie would have saved it. And smart to know that Linux was probably looking for the pass there, and honestly, that's normally what a lot of players will do in that situation, is pass down for the bottom opportunity, and Image, knowing that Linux might not anticipate that, decides to keep it and pays off.
9 and Rage looking to make it 2-0. Here's a chance. Oh, Rage didn't shoot it immediately. I think he had a wide open net. He types in Del A for some reason. I don't really know. He says, I maced Katarl. And Rage clearly having some sort of an asthma attack, so we're going to have to see if he can continue to play. Mason Buckcat coming the other way, though. Not going to take too much time away. And now 9 will go one-on-one with Troydan. Bucky trying to make an impact on D. And Troydan, wow.
L day on the oop stay prevents the old gate.
Oh, he meant delay. That makes more sense now. Image throws it back to Dragonwing. We're almost at the halfway point of the game, actually, because the halfway point of the second period would generally be the halfway point of the game, unless you are going to overtime. Regiments with Mace 23. Here's a chance. Shoots. Buckhead. Wow. Huge procs. Super Dan.
Well, he's in decent position for that, too, and that's what I was saying. Again, another odd man rush on a check opportunity, and Execution and Super Dan are just in position to stop those. This strategy is just not going to be as effective against a team with a great goalie and reliable defense.
Here's Bucky and stuff. Nothing happens there, but it looked a lot closer than it was. Now we're officially at the halfway point of the second period. Rage coming back the other way. Steals the puck from Troy. Some talk in Empire chat about axing the Red Raven as their goaltender. Here's Bucky to Mace. No, jaywalking with a huge steal. And now, here we go. Somebody saying 35 would be kind of epic. Oh, penalty minutes. That's a good one. Mace at the blue line. And here's a chance. Oh, Jean-Claude Van Damme not going to be surprised there.
Yeah, and that's what interference likes to do. They'll get these opportunities and take these shots that take a lot of goalies by surprise. But if the goalie has really solid positioning, it's just tough to do that. You need some good passing plays to do that. And interference is probably going to have to
What is going on?
score that goal.
Yeah. A lot of people saying dunk. Buckcat thinks it's clean. Iceman thinks it's in the middle. What do you think, Thrill?
Well, the entire ref frequency has voted crease, so that's definitely going to be the call here. He was close. He almost got it off. I do think that he did go a little bit in there. I think that's why Super Dan had shot up top to the other part of the net, because he felt that regiments might not have the opportunity to get it in without shooting it in the crease.
Jean-Claude Van Damme saying he expected the ass pass. And the lineup will happen now. This, oh, here we go. Apparently I'm watching Buckcat because I have him ticked. So I pressed Kantarl to talk, and now I'm seeing Buckcat.
You know, it's funny, for a second, I wasn't really thinking about what you're saying. I thought you were saying that you got Buck mad at you, like he was ticked.
Oh, he's furious. Buckcat down 1-0 in this game to execution. Why am I still watching Buckcat? Let's press F5. There we go. Pilot has it now. 4 minutes left in this second period. I can't find the any key. Here's Pilot. Oh, he turns it over to Image, but Mace picks it up. And here they go. Mace 23. With a chance. Oh, cluster F'd.
If you can't find the any key, just ask Saving where it is. He has a lot of experience with the any key.
Here's a chance. Troy Dan with a big defensive play. And now they're going to come back the other way and try to make something happen. They're down 1-0. Regiments with Pilot. And Regiments gets killed. Nothing is coming out Millhouse for interference tonight.
Well, they're at least getting a lot more shots on net this period than they did the previous period. They only had 2 shots in the first period, and now that shot up to 6. So they're doing a little bit better of a job. I think execution is still outplaying them, but interference just not able to get the puck in the net, which is kind of what their main strategy is hinged upon.
I think that's everybody's strategy.
Oh, no, that's not necessarily true. Some teams are a lot more defensive. Some teams like to control the puck. Interference is just all about being opportunistic and just putting goals in the back of the net. They're very offense-heavy.
Dragon Wing catching that outside the crease. Nicely done. Here's Rage with a chance. Shoots low. He hit the post. It looked like he might have been there. And 9 will get a nice little turnover here. And they're going to just hang on to the puck. And Bucky comes out of nowhere to save the day. Captain Bucky. Oh, there he is. To Regiments. Regiments trying to make something happen. Pilot. Oh, he hit the post. Pilot with his best opportunity of his freaking life. And I think his entire family's just devastated. Pilot looking for a new family. Here's Super Dan turning the puck over to Mace. Regiments at the center line. Rage has it outside the blue line, and now they're going to come back the other way. Image finding jaywalking to 9. Here's a chance. Pilot redeeming himself. Long way to go, however. Only his grandmother satisfied. Wish that wasn't the first time I said that today. Rage gives the puck back to Super Dan, who takes a shot from Pilot. Image to 9. Here's another chance. Oh, look at this. Lag from Image. Surprisingly, the first time I've really noticed that tonight. And now jaywalking with Rage down low. Jaywalking misses the net south, and Troydan picks it up.
Really a lot of back and forth action in the past 3 or 4.
A huge tank there on Mace from my eyes.
And Interference has honestly done a much better job in this period than the last period, getting that dual warbird out.
Well, we thought we had a chance there, but the jaywalking catches the puck on the crease. This intermission, the second intermission, the one between the first period and the third period, and the one that would come before the third and over, brought to you by Empire Nation. Next, oh, hang on a second, jaywalking scores! What the heck is going on? Wow.
I think that the defenders that were back from Interference expected to prox that pass. I don't think they thought that jaywalking was going to prox that pass. I think that's why there was no check. But he does prox the pass, and they don't check him, and that's jaywalking's 11th or 12th goal of the season. So he's definitely been putting the puck into the back of the net so far this season.
9 nearly scores one there on Linux. It's 2-0 execution. That goal brought to you by the dance competition between Idkid and Bob Barker Can't Die for the Empire halftime show the next time Janky streams. 22 seconds left in this second period. As you can tell, this game is all execution. Interference very disappointed with how this game is going so far. Nothing is coming out Millhouse for them today. 6 seconds left. They're going to try and get a goal here with a couple seconds left, but they're not playing. Oh, Buckcat was going to try and get that down south.
Well, we saw the game between Dirty Birds and Interference ended up taking over that game after Dirty Birds made some questionable line changes. But in the first period of that game, when Dirty Birds had their top line, they controlled the puck really well and were able to shut down Interference. Execution doing the same so far in the first 2 periods. And I think it is that Interference is probably the best team in the game at being opportunistic and converting odd man rushes and converting a lot of those chances. But that's harder to do against these top caliber teams. They're not as well rounded. They have really great goal scoring potential, but I don't think they're as well rounded as the other top teams like Execution, like Baby Soul Killers, Dirty Birds, in terms of puck control and team defense and stuff like that. Especially with the dual warbird. And you saw in that period when they took out the dual warbird, they did substantially better. But I just think that Interference has some work to do to bring up their puck cycle and defense up to par with Execution and some of the top teams in the league. The goal scoring is there, but holes left by Botmim and TSZ haven't been apparent yet this season, but I think they're definitely missing it in this game.
TZS $money Z has disappeared seemingly from the RSHL and subspace altogether. We can only presume that he's hanging out with 9 during the week. 23 seconds left in the second intermission, sponsored by President's Choice Cheese Swiss Sticks, imported from Switzerland. You are guaranteed 11 breadsticks. It actually says 11 breadsticks minimum.
I gotta be honest, I'm a huge fan of breadsticks.
I am too, but these are too crunchy.
Yeah, I don't like them crunchy. I like them to be kind of soft and chewy. That's how I like my bread.
Oh, are we talking bread or women?
Both.
Sexy. Puck's going to be dropped by Blucka.
No, I like my men hard as a rock goes.
Attaboy. And dipped in marinara sauce. Mace 23 at the center. Are we talking bread or men? Regiments at center ice. To Buckcat. To strike. To no one. And that happened. He's going to go behind the net to Stickman's office. Or orifice, depending on how you typo or spell it. 9 to Rage at center ice. And, oh, Rage with a opportunity, but Troydan says no.
Yeah, great defense from Troydan there, and that's one thing that Linux does really well, is trust his defense, because he cheated down a little bit to make sure that there is no possible way he could score on the downward shot and force him upwards, and depended on Troydan to make the play there. And sometimes that can, kind of bite the goalie in the ass, but when the defenseman makes the play, it makes you look really smart. And, Troydan played some really great defensive interferences last game, too, so him and Linux are definitely working pretty well back there.
Here's a chance for 9, one-on-one with Linux. What's going to happen? He shoots, and a big save by Linux. We'll assume it was a blocker save because we assume everybody's right-handed, although he is from France, and so he's got to be a huge Jose Theodore fan, which would then make that a glove save. 9 finds jaywalking. What's going to happen? Jaywalking and rage with Image and 9. And, okay.
Well, he was hoping that the top shot would be available there, and against a lot of goalies it probably would be, but Linux is really, really strong in keeping up with his positioning, so the angle just wasn't there.
Oh, a big opportunity for 9 there, don't you know? And Strike throws it up. It's going to lag everyone. 9 picks it up. I'm just going to make a mention right now. If you were a fan of Doug, watch the 11th episode of Orange is the New Black. Yes, I am aware that this show is designed for women, but it has the character, the voice actor for Patty Mayonnaise talking about marijuana and killing an 8-year-old kid, and it's weird. Jaywalking to Image. Here's a chance. Okay, it was obvious lag. Yep.
And interference with the dual warbird here. They want to generate more offense and hope to get some goals, but I think that they... Oh, hold on here. Actually, Buckcat had spec'd for Pilot. Is he going to come back in now? Yeah, he's going to come back in.
It's entirely possible. I've been informed to let people know about the Empire plugs. Basically, you wear them during games so that when your goaltender yells at you to play defense, you don't hear him. Oh! Puck goes out to Buckcat. No, it lags through him to Dragon Wing 0. That's the first time I couldn't stop laughing and I had to actually mute my mic. 9 crosses center ice. It's going to be stolen by Mace.
Yeah, you really crack yourself up, don't you, Rick?
I do. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, so Mace turns the puck over to 9. Image to jaywalking. And they're going to try and get another shot on goal here. This could be huge for execution. They're already up 2-0. Ugh. Here's another chance. 9, and Linux is back to make that catch with his procs.
Yeah, so Buckcat lagged out again. It looks like he's having some issues with that.
Yeah, that's not good for him. Here's a chance. Jaywalking had a good chance there, but he decides to hang on to the puck. I don't think he would have scored, so good decision there. Image finds Jaywalking. They're just dominating right now, and now as I say that, interference comes back with Strike, representing breast cancer. Well, not representing the destruction of breast cancer. Huge difference. I'm pretty sure he's not a fan of breast cancer.
Some people are haters.
It's very true. Rage. Oh, that happened.
And one thing I'll say this, it's unfortunate for interference that their top goal scorer is lagging out right now, but one thing that I do think works in their favor is that they can't play the dual warbird right now, which I think is not going to work against the setup that Execution has. I think that Execution's defense with Dragon Wing and just the coupling with Super Dan's great play is probably going to prevent the dual warbird system from working very well. So that's one positive thing to take out of it, at least.
Hey, have you seen the 2002 Royal Rumble, the one where Rikishi drew 1 and Goldust drew 2, and then Mr. Perfect ended up in the final 3, and then Triple H went on to win the whole thing? And I think Kurt Angle stole his number from Nunzio.
I'm not sure. Can you give me a couple more details?
Yeah, basically the Undertaker got drop-kicked by Maven and was eliminated, and then the Undertaker just beat him within an inch of his life, and they went outside the ring, up into the crowd area, and then backstage, where the Undertaker slammed Maven's head into that popcorn vendor. Well, that popcorn vendor is bringing you the second half of the third period, sponsored by Empire.
No, I didn't see that one. The only one I saw was the one where wrestling sucks.
That would be 1995 when it was 30 minutes long. Here's a chance. Image took 9, and 9 scores.
Yeah, and great shot by 9. And they've played really well with him. I mean, 9 is a pretty good player. And execution, definitely liking having him showing to the games and being active. 19 shots to 6. So over 3 times the amount of shots for execution, 3 goals to 0. And this is the problem that interference is going to come up with. Like I was saying before, I just feel like their goal scoring is their top attribute. And they're not, I just really don't feel they're strong as a couple of the other teams in the league and other areas of the game. And when you're not going to be able to score those goals, then what else do you have? You know what I mean? If that's your main thing and you can't score the goals, what are you going to do?
Well, you're about to witness history as Fur of Fur is on the ice in a warbird, which basically means that interference has given up, as we will now too as well. So it's accent time, Thrill. It's accent time.
You know, I'm wondering if, just to be silly, if Buck was putting Fur in the warbird there to keep the double warbird system that I just said. I'm not sure will work out. No, he switches to Weasel now. Okay. I was wondering if he was just being a jokester there.
I'm already all in, so here we go. Okay, so the puck going to be dropped. The 9 and Strike going to take the face off there. And the puck is in with the... Oh, hang on. Blocker has it at center ice. We don't know what's going on. He's on his own team, but he doesn't have to drop it yet. He's hanging on. He's not going to press. There it goes. And 9 gets killed by regiments, similar to how my entire family was killed in medieval times. And regiments... It's like I'm breaking into walking randomly. I don't understand it. Mace likes it through everyone. And Fur picks it up off the wall. And 9 has it to Image. Back to 9. 9 still hanging on to the puck. And 9 has it again. And Fur has it to Strike over the blue line to Mice. Mice to hangs on to the puck to regiments. And that happened. Super Dan. To Image to Rage. Back to Image. Image to Rage. Trying to find 9. Can't find them. Here's 9 with a shot on Linux. But Linux with a big goal. And now 9. To Rage. At the center ice. To jaywalking. And 9 can't catch a puck. But Strike can. Strike in mid Gotham City. Regiments now into offensive Gotham City.
Glass of water, sir.
Yeah, I kind of need one. Image has the puck. Image with 9 there to 9. Back to Image. Back to 9. Image 9. It's up to jaywalking.
Oh man, you're a real joker, Red.
Oh, you're such a popular guy, Catwoman. 9 to Rage, and here's another opportunity. Jaywalking! Oh, he misses the net. Wow!
Yeah, great opportunity by jaywalking, or G-walking, as Cozy likes to call him.
Wow! Here's 9 to Regiments. And then Fur picks up the puck. Tridan has it. Rage to 9. And here we go again. He's gonna stomp your throat with his puck. But he can't do it very well. 4:31 left in the game. Here's Rage with another chance. Can he dominate? I don't know. We're gonna find out right now. Oh, he shoots. No, that happened.
Hey, Red Raven, you feel kind of warm. Are you running are you running a fever?
I've got a fever.
What's the prescription for that?
Hookers and blow. Maybe a pizza. Anything else? Other than these Swiss breadsticks, they're way too hard. It's as if somebody what the hell was that? Random spike. Blew my mind. Thought maybe I was just doing a little bit too much wacky tobacco. That's referencing marijuana if you're not, you don't know.
Jesus told me that marijuana is bad for you.
Yeah, he also told me that Yasuo Puig should play in the All-Star game, but he's not there. I don't know what to believe. Here's Mace, 23. With a puck to strike. What a chance. No rage. Defensively getting there. Behind the net. It's as if he was born there. Deserves to be there. Put his name on a trophy or something. Here's Image. Over the blue line. He gets there. No. What a dodge. Unbelievable. Jaywalking to the Image. Wide open. That scores, but it goes through the Warbird defender. I don't think that's clean, but I'm not the one that makes the decision. If I was, it'd probably be not a goal. We'll have to wait and see. Blocka has a bit of a vendetta, you know.
Yeah, I've heard
oh my
he's
god,
a really
they called it
biased
clean. I'm gonna have to hunt Blocka down with a knife and stomp his throat. The game's over now.
I gotta be
nothing.
honest. Why would you take the knife if you're just going to stomp his throat?
So I can tie it to my shoe and save a little bit of extra work.
He'll be walking to an early grave.
It's like elbow grease under my feet. Here's a chance with 9 at the center line to pull a puker line. Oh man, Strike had a chance, but Super Dan survives. Only has 8 saves tonight.
Oh, look at Ray Joe's got the puck. Oh, Ray Joe, look at him. Oh, here we go. Oh, to 9. Wow. Oh, 9. Over the line. Oh, look at it. Score. No, it's a big save for Linux. Here we go. 2:35 left.
9 with a slap shot. And it goes in. No, a big save by Trodan. For a fur off the boards. Dragon Wing 0 has the puck. To jaywalking. And Super Dan has the puck. Strike. With a chance. No, Rage. Has it at center ice. Here we go, a shot. He misses the net. Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. I don't want to wake people up. Here's 9 with the puck. And 9 has it. Linux with the save. His 19th on the season, not counting lag.
Yeah, I'd hate for you to wake up from this dream that you're having that you can impersonate people.
Strike. Snap. Snap. Brought to you by Regiments. Regiments. Snapple. Here's a chance, Regiments. Troy Dan with a chance. Chance. I didn't say chance enough yet. Super Dan ruins it. Here's Regiment. Regiments. It's as if they're the same person. He's got 9 shooting slap shot. 1:08 left in this third period.
You know, the factoid on the lid of the Snapple is actually telling me that this is Blue Goku's 60th career team win as captain, making him the most successful RSHL captain in the history of the zone.
That's stupid. Yeah. Here we go. Rage. Yeah. Strike with a save. Strike does that. 36 left. What does Yoda sound like? Passes the puck you do. Image. I don't know.
That was sort of close.
I've never actually seen the movie. Never.
You've never seen the movie, huh?
No, I was one of my ex-girlfriends forced me to watch Star Wars 3, and then I said 9. Rage finds Image. I was really hoping 9 would have the puck there, but he didn't. Image on a breakaway. Wait, Regiments was hiding in the net, and he picks it up, and that's the end of the game. Final score is, I believe, 4-0 interference. Just kidding, they lost. There's Buckcat missing the net. He hit the post. Pilot did it earlier, but he couldn't score either. He also hit the post. He missed. The wide open net. He might have even missed the post. I don't remember. It was similar to that Mighty Ducks reference when Charlie says, if you had gone a quarter inch the other way, you would have missed the net completely. And then Bombay's like, wow, you somehow made me feel better, but he didn't. Because he killed himself. I think that's what happened. Wow. Could he be more in the crease? All right, so we're going to do a thing where we talk about stuff. Oh, he scored! Oh, that was a replay. When this game happened, we thought it would be a lot closer than it was, but it turned out to just be a 4-0 decimation by Execution. Do you think that Execution is on their way to maybe win everything?
Well, you know, it's possible. They definitely have one of the scariest rosters in the league, but I mean, if you recall from before the game, I definitely wasn't 100% sure if the score would be this one-sided, as 4-0. But I did say that I thought that Execution was probably going to have the upper hand against Interference, and they were really going to struggle. And just looking at the team's different skill sets, Interference just doesn't match up very well stylistically against a team with a goalie like Super Dan and a team that has good team defense. So this is something that Interference is going to work on, where they're probably going to monkey stomp a lot of the league, but when it comes to these top teams that are playing their best lines, they're going to have to work out a strategy to come up and deal with that.
Oh yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, he scored a goal. Oh, look at this. They're like the Beatles of the RSHL. Here they go. Jaywalking. Oh, the image scores.
Oh, that looked clean. But it wasn't. Yeah, what is monkey stomping, by the way? Really? Legitimate question.
You know what? I'm assuming it's probably where a monkey starts stomping on something's face and obliterates it because they have super strong fingers and toes. I'm just throwing a guess out there. I don't know.
Like Donkey Kong? Because I imagined it the other way, like a little monkey getting stomped on.
Oh yeah, I've always imagined it like the Donkey Kong, but that's an amusing way to look at it, I guess.
Well, that's all we have for you today in the RSHL, which stands for Realistic Subspace Hockey League. This is Season 20. That was Interference and Execution. Tune in tomorrow night for Empire and Dire Wolves, I think. I'm just assuming that's who's playing. I don't actually know. I'm not a doctor. Have a great night. Y'all have a good rest of your Monday.